Hello. In this video, I wanted to talk about a feature to a problem we had on Last Expedition. Last Expedition was a 4v4 extraction shooter set on a hostile alien planet where there's lots of alien creatures and fauna. It's kind of reminiscent of Left 4 Dead. There's lots of creatures, lots of a horde up to 10 to 50 at any given time, and we had to have lots of places to spawn these. Our world was mostly exterior, mostly outdoors. And while we did want to get burrows in there eventually, and tunnels and immersion holes like in Gears of War, uh, we had them kind of mostly just spawning out of the ground. Um, and in order for that to be, close and proper distances to the player, but not too far, but not too close, depending on what the director of the game was doing at the time, we needed to have lots of spawn points that were potential candidates for these creatures to spawn at. And we thought, why not just use the NavMesh as a great way to spawn? It already has a navigable area. We can just piggyback on that. Um, and we tried that, and there was some unforeseen issues with that. I wasn't aware of this, but Unreal actually just uses a third-party system called Recast to generate its NavMesh that's incorporated in Unreal. And the way that Recast works is really just taking a silhouette of each mesh and kind of poking out the holes, but not the inside part. You'll see if you kind of look down on this mesh, you see kind of like this outline. It's kind of like silhouette outline. It's like not deep. It doesn't have um, all the way through. And so you actually have this on all these meshes. You can see that if we actually use this nav mesh to spawn creatures, we might get creatures in here. We might get game objectives in here, and that would not be good. Um, there are options on the nav mesh to turn off navigation below the mesh. But again, if you have multiple layers or underground caverns, that's not really going to be a solution either, because it's going to pretty much cut off all nav mesh below if you toggle that. So we came up with another solution that I call a Russian nesting doll, basically. If I add this component to this mesh, you can see here, it's actually the mesh. It's the parent mesh. It grabs the parent mesh, and then what it does is, based on how big it needs to do it, how big the parent mesh is, it basically creates increments of ever smaller meshes that are instanced in a hierarchical fashion. So it should be cheap on the editor, and they never make it into the game because they're mostly editor only. We were just building our nav mesh for these types of things in the editor and not dynamically. So if I add that, it should fill all of these. This boundary that has no nav mesh, that should extend inward, and it should get rid of everything that we need to get rid of. So if I build pass, let's see what happens. Yes, now we have a really clean outline. You can see over here, we still have the nav mesh. We have 3 layers here actually. Um, does that even make sense? I don't know. Where is that coming from? But if I add my NavMesh filler to it and I build paths, what happens? It's all clean. Exactly what we want. You can see the same here. Add NavMesh filler, build paths, and there we go. It was a fun little project to work on, and taught me a lot about how Unreal makes NavMesh. So it was a labor of love. Thanks for watching.